Hi there. As you can see, I've amassed quite a collection now of card candy from Craftwork Cards, and it's about time that I used some of them up. Have a little rifle through your collection. I've picked these three boxes from my little stash, and it doesn't matter what colour really, just as long as you've got a selection of card candy that you think will look nice when they're displayed together. Because I've got a Martha Stewart scoreboard, it's divided into 1/8 of an inch. Everything on this card design is actually based on that principle, but if you watch this video and perhaps you've got a hoogie board or something else that's got slightly different measurements on it, you might be able to work out for yourself the size of grid that you'll need to be able to make this card. So I'm starting out with a piece of card that measures 5¼ inches square, and then using my Tim Holtz ruler, which is quite good because you can keep straight using the grid that's actually printed on the ruler, I'm dividing this card into a grid at every 3/8 of an inch. It's well worth doing this each time you make a card of a new design, and then keep your grid when you're finished as a template if you ever decide to do that card design again. You can see it's taken me a little while to work this out, so you're going to get the benefit of that experience from this card design. So I'm going to work on the principle I'm making a 21st birthday card. So I'm mapping out my numbers on my grid, trying to centralise them, trying to work out how to get them central on the card. Numbers work well with this method of using card candy, but perhaps you could work out how to do a heart design or maybe a simple flower. Pick a piece of cardstock that matches the card candy that you want to use. I'm using this pale green pearl cardstock, and I've cut mine to measure 5½ inches square when it's folded. So 5½ by 11, and then I'm going to score it at 5½. The main card design itself actually ends up at 5¼ inches, and I've chosen to do it this way just in case you get any slippage, and then we're going to trim it down to 5¼ when we've finished scoring our grid. So I'm scoring it first at 5½, and then I'm going to fold the card in half. Working on the inside of the front of the card, you're going to score every 3/8 of an inch. Start at the fold of the card and then work your way towards the outside edge. Now what you want to do is move your card a little way away from the top of your scoreboard, just to make sure that those score lines reach completely from the top to the bottom of the card. Remember, you will have a little bit of excess at the end, and that's the little piece that we're going to trim away when we're happy with the grid on our card. Then turn your card 90 degrees and finish marking or embossing the grid on the front of your card. Then you're going to trim off that 1/4 inch excess so that you've got a 5¼ inch square card with a grid embossed on the front. I like to use a silicone glue to attach my card candy to my grid, but you could use small pieces of double-sided foam tape if you wanted to. I think that the silicone glue gives you just a little bit of time to manoeuvre your card candy to make sure that you get them in a nice grid pattern. And I'm going to begin by adding small dots of silicone in the centre of each of my little grid squares, and I'm going to start by making the frame around the edge of the card. I started out, as you can see, by making an all blue frame, but then I changed my mind. That's my prerogative, and I've decided to use alternate blue and green card candy to make the frame. Now if you do decide, like me, to do an alternate coloured frame, just count the colours out on the edge of your card to start with, just to make sure that you can finish the pattern properly, blue, green, and you don't end up with 2 blue or 2 greens when you get to the end of your frame. And that's the frame finished. Next I'm going to work on my numbers, making sure my card's up the right way. Then I'm going to space out the numbers 2 and 1 for 21. So just follow the grid that you made earlier, and then I'm attaching these paisley card candy from my numbers. I'm using this barbecue skewer just because it helps just gently manoeuvre things into position. Your fingers, particularly as your card gets fuller of card candy, your fingers tend to get a little bit in the way unless you've got nice long nails. I'm keeping the patterns on these card candy all up the same way, but this wouldn't matter if you had a pattern that was a bit more random or if you was using a single colour. I find it easier to do the numbers next and then to fill in all the gaps in between. Now my numbers are in position, I'm ready to work on filling in the background. I'm just having a little look at what it would look like if I used alternate colours of white and green versus all white, and I think I'm going to go with the all white version. There's no right or wrong, it's just what you like really. And then I'm going to work as we have before and fill in the rest of the grid with white card candy. I think you'll agree that this card is very effective. It's actually quite easy to do. It just takes a little bit of patience and a little bit of accuracy to get a nice finish. And they really do remind me of the hours that I spent as a child playing with the pegboards and the little coloured pegs making patterns. This is a really fun technique, and you could do it for any number, like I said before, or perhaps a nice love heart for Valentine's Day in different shades of pink would look fab. And then to finish the card off, I'm going to attach a matching inner, and I've printed it off onto the computer and I'm just trimming it to size so that it's slightly smaller than the base card. And then with your inner folded, run some double-sided tape, or I'm using my HEG gun, along that fold edge. Position it inside your card and then close, making sure you don't move that card candy. Probably better to wait till it dries, but I'm a bit impatient. And there you have your card candy card finished. I hope you like this technique enough to give it a go yourself. I'm sure you'll come up with lots of other designs. There's a bit of a close-up there of what the grid looks like, all filled up with that yummy card candy. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, then you'll get notification next time I post a video tutorial. If you click on the link on my sidebar, you'll get to my blog where I share lots of other crafting adventures and inspiration. And I also sell bigger project templates and tutorials over on my Etsy shop, which you can also get to by clicking on the link on my sidebar. Thank you for watching.